Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Biblio Fitness. As you could tell, I'm under the influence. I feel like today is a special. If it gets, it's probably gonna get demonetized, but I don't care. Pretty lit. I've been reading the Brothers Karamazov, which is what I'm gonna do when I'm done with this video. I forgot how amazing this book is, or I believe it's also like through development. I've begun to appreciate the mastery that is the Brothers Karamazov. I don't agree with the message, but it's always compelling. It's still good to, listen to the other side, listen to other people's opinions. Like I've said before, it's foolish to believe that you are somehow going to evolve as a human being by listening to to the same opinions as you. Like, how are you going to grow as a person? How are you even going to enhance your own argument if you don't listen to the rebuttals, if you don't listen to the pushback that could be found if you just read other people? And Fyodor Dostoevsky is one of them. He's one of the greatest writers of all time, but he's very Christian. There's a lot of Christian religious overtones and the moral and the virtues that are in place throughout these stories are Christian in nature, even though I'm not a fan of Christianity. But it's a great book. It's at this point, they introduced Dmitry, Ivan, and Alyosha, or Alexei. His actual name is Alexei. Those are really nice names, to be honest with you. I know they're Eastern European. Hold up. Yeah. So right now at this point of the story, there is a conflict between the eldest son Dmitry and the father Fyodor. Dmitry is an impulsive man. He served in the military. He got into trouble. He got in a duel with a superior officer. He's quite the sensualist, as they say. He's a debauched human being, just like his father. But then he gets older, and he goes back to the town to visit his father in order to collect his piece of the property, like his inheritance, basically, because now he's come of age. But they somehow get into an argument. Somehow get into a disagreement. I forgot exactly how it goes. They get into an agreement. But the whole, that the father was going to give him money, like a little bit of money every once in a while. But the problem is that Dmitry never found out the value of the house and how much money he had left in his piece of the house, of the property. So in the end, Dmitry, being the jackass that he is, going around and partying, apparently having, developing quite the negative sort of reputation for being a debauched human being. He's fucking around, partying, drinking, fucking a lot of women. He grows an actual debt to the father when he comes back and asks for more money. And he gets mad that the father stops giving him money, and his dad Fyodor tells him, "Hey, look, like, you don't even have it anymore. You actually owe me money." And that's where this whole feud ensues. And then they go to the monastery, to which Alyosha goes to. In order to resolve this, because Ivan comes to town as well. And he was very successful in studying. He's a very smart guy, but he's a very pessimistic motherfucker. And he definitely has a conflict that I feel like even that's why I'm very akin to him. Like, if you know the cause of understanding that God is dead, and that's the notion of Dostoevsky. It's like, we need a God. Like, if there's no God, then how can we be repentant? How can we be serving individuals? We need to have this ideal in place. And I feel like the big rebuttal, the enlightenment, is like, no, we don't need God. God is obsolete. So, like, we now can use reason. in order to solve our problems, kind of forgetting about the metaphysical world, the conscious, what philosophy is all about, basically, and just focusing on the physical. And that really led to the rise of individualism, of industrialism, of capitalism, and all these things that are now our gods. That's why we're very materialistic in our culture, And I feel Dostoevsky is predicting this. A caricature of that future is a man like Fyodor. A man that is essentialist, a man that has no more fear of a god, has no fear of a punishment. Because if you haven't realized already, Christianity is based upon a fear and reward and punishment sort of system. If you don't believe in our God, if you don't abide by our rules and our set of standards and our morals, you will be damned for eternity in hell. I don't know how people don't see Christianity for what it is, though. I really don't understand how people actually continue to advocate for it. So, it's just interesting to have Dostoevsky try to throw this bullshit in my face. He's very good at it. It's a great story. They go to the monastery. Fyodor is an absolute jackass. He just mocks everybody. He likes to mock himself. He's just a caricature. He's just a fucking ridiculous dumbass. He doesn't care. But he's still very intelligent. He's still very, he's aware. He's made money for himself, and he's become quite, he owns a lot of taverns in the town. A lot of people owe him money. He's become quite a figure. He's not an idiot either. But the whole point is to resolve that issue. And then when Fyodor comes on, Dmitri comes in. It's died out before. That there's a whole love triangle going on between father and son and this young lady called Glushchenska. I forgot her actual name right now. Apparently they're both competing for this woman, and the reason Dmitri wants all this extra money is so he can marry this girl and throw even more money at her that he already has thrown at her. You know what I'm saying? He's already spent a significant amount of this. This woman's basically finessing his ass, but she's also finessing the father. And she's this guy Ratikin makes, or some shit like that, makes the case that she's just hedging her bets. She's just trying to figure out, just not hopping fences just yet, trying to see how this shit go, who is more profitable. But yeah, that's fucking weird. No one knew about this. Pyotr, the guy, their uncle, gets really furious about this. He's like, what the fuck? I didn't know you guys were fighting over this dumbass hoe. She has a bad reputation.